Something unexpected is happening in the housing market right now. This late in the year, buyer activity is actually rising, which is something that we never really see in December. It's not just on new construction either, it's on resale homes as well. And when you think about it, affordability has been improving and mortgage rates have finally stabilized to the lowest point they have been, or the lowest level they've been in the last year. As a result, the setup going into 2026 might just surprise you. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas. And in this month's market update, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening right here in Frisco and Prosper on what you can expect as we head into the new year if you're considering buying or selling a home. And with that, we're going to start with affordability because that's one of the biggest shifts we've seen in quite a while. So let's jump right in. So Zillow recently announced that home affordability has reached a 3-year high, which is great news for anyone buying a home. So why exactly is that? How has it improved? Well, affordability is made up of 3 things. Number 1, you've got home prices, and as you know, those have not been going up as they have in the past. As a matter of fact, they've softened in many areas. Number 2 is wages. Even though there's been some uncertainty in the economy, wages have actually been growing continually over the past couple of years. And number 3 is mortgage rates. Mortgage rates have declined to a level that we haven't seen in quite a long time. But if you're out there sitting on the fence waiting for home prices to fall further or hoping that mortgage rates drop even more, well, you might not like what we're going to cover next. So right here is the absolute latest mortgage rate projections by Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and Wells Fargo. This just came out on December 1st. And as you can see, we've seen this. It's been talked about for a while. So you've got rates ranging from Fannie Mae thinking 6.2% as we head into the new year. And they're thinking we're going to get under 6% by the end of 2026. They're the only ones that think that right now, that both the Mortgage Bankers Association and Wells Fargo are not projecting that as well. As you can see, the Mortgage Bankers Association isn't really changing off of 6.4. I think they're a little high. We're running underneath that right now already. Wells Fargo right now are looking at 6.15 to 6.2. So again, a very tight range overall with regards to those mortgage rates. But again, if you're hoping that rates drop into the low 5s or something like that in the next year, it just doesn't appear to be in the cards, unfortunately. Now, if you're familiar with my monthly market updates and you've seen some of the ones that I've done in the past, you'll know that most of the year I've been talking about a tale of different markets, how the Northeast, parts of the upper Midwest and the Northeast have remained ridiculously strong with very low inventory levels, multiple offers, and prices going up. Whereas the South and the Southwest, all of the Sun Belt, all the way out towards the West Coast, have seen a different market. It's been a more challenging market. We've seen softening of prices in many areas, and that's really had a lot of potential buyers out there thinking that, well, prices are going to fall. And I know that a couple of reports came out just in the last couple of weeks talking about massive price corrections in 2026. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see it in the data anywhere, nothing in the advanced indicators, those leading indicators, to indicate we're going to see anything like that in Frisco and Prosper. And I don't see many other areas of the country having that type of downturn that they're talking about. And I'm not saying that to be overly optimistic. I'm saying there's just nothing there unless something unexpected happens that we don't see. And I'll just caution you, a lot of people have a lot of opinions and put a lot of information out there based on, I don't know what all of it is based on, to be honest with you. I mean, if we go back, think about when COVID hit. The consensus on virtually everybody was that prices were going to crash. The real estate market was doomed. It was going to be worse than what happened in 2007, 2008. I was one of the few that said, I don't really see it. Not yet. There's nothing to indicate it. And again, what happened? Not only did it not crash, it went on a tear, and we saw prices accelerate like nobody predicted or imagined. So as I mentioned right at the start, we're seeing an unusual amount of buyer activity for this time of the year. Things are normally slow, really slow as we head into the holidays, but this year activity has actually picked up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through, I'm going to show you what the latest is in regards to the prices, the list prices, inventory, and price reductions here in our local market. But before I share the screen and those charts with you, I just want to let you know that my winter buyer and seller guides are now out. They are now available. They're free, they're easy to download, and they walk you through strategies and trends that you're going to want to pay attention to if you're thinking about buying or selling or a home in the coming months. Now, a link for those is in the description below. All right, first up here, we're going to look at the median sales price for both Frisco and Prosper. And, you know, if you remember last month's update, I always caution, don't get too caught up in these month-over-month numbers, as they can be very misleading. So, for instance, you may recall, if we look at Frisco, in October, sales prices year over year were up 10.3%. And I had a couple people call and go, what's going on in Frisco? Are prices really going up like that again? No, they're not. The month over month numbers are going to vary wildly depending upon the mix of homes that sell in a given month. So for instance, Frisco was up 10.3% in October. Here we are in November, and they were down 7.9%. So you can see things kind of even out as we go across the year. And I'm going to show you another chart in just a minute that shows this even better. Prosper likewise. Prosper saw a little bit of an increase, 4.8%, but you're going to see in just a minute that prices, like I've been saying, have actually been holding fairly steady. Now, saying that, does that mean that certain neighborhoods and certain homes have not lost value? No, it doesn't. There are homes that are definitely going to sell for less than they were a year ago. A lot depends on the age of the home. A lot depends on the neighborhood. A lot depends on condition. And, you know, right here, we're looking at all construction types. So there's new construction mixed in with these numbers as well, which can adjust the numbers a little bit. So with that, next, I'm going to show you some of my advanced analytics here. So what I'm looking at on this screen is the median price. The green line is Prosper, and the black line here is Frisco. And this is going back all the way to 2023, right? So you can see back in here, as we go through, we saw prices run up, but I really want to focus here. This is a year ago. This is December 6th, 2024. All right, so I'm recording this roughly December 10th, 2025, so roughly a year. The median price in Frisco was $734,700. The median price as of this week is $750. Okay, so it's virtually unchanged. So I've been saying for most of the year, prices are flat. Prices are flat. They're not really going up or down. We're kind of treading water. And this is showing it very, very clearly. Prosper's a little bit different. Remember, Prosper has a lot of new construction. There's a higher mix of new construction in the homes in Prosper than there are in Frisco. But even Prosper, you can see how steady prices were all the way through the summer. We never really got the massive run up through spring and summer that we usually do. But since August, prices in Prosper have been coming down. They're now sitting at $825, whereas back beginning of the year, they were at $900. So it's not that they've fallen off substantially, but it's important to remember that new construction is greatly influencing that. Now, if you've seen any of the other videos I've done, especially on some of the quick move-in deals, you'll know why. I mean, I toured a quick move-in home in Windsong Ranch in Prosper recently, brand new construction. You know, it had been reduced $200,000. Those type of sales are going to impact this number. So if you own a home in Prosper, don't panic. Don't think that the bottom is falling out of the market. It's not. Like I said, it's going to vary. And when you're competing against the builders, it can be difficult as they've been pushing very, very hard to make their month-end numbers. Now, if we look at inventory, this is a big one because as far as inventory goes, as you know, home prices are basically supply and demand. As I've mentioned, demand has been ticking up a little bit unexpectedly. Again, it's not great. It's still weak compared to historical levels, but you can see inventory right here in Prosper has been relatively flat. I mean, it hasn't really changed a lot. In Frisco, we did see a run up through the summer, and then it's declined, and it continues to decline as we head into 2026. It's more inventory than we had before, in the last couple of years, but it is a much healthier level of inventory. As a matter of fact, inventory levels are 4.1 months of supply in Frisco, and they're 4.7 months in Prosper. Anything underneath 5 months generally benefits a seller. Between 5 and 6, the market is pretty balanced. Over 6, the market benefits a buyer. So as you can see, 4.1, 4.7, we are in a fairly balanced neutral market at the moment. And last up, price decreased. And as you know, this is a stat I really like because it shows health of buyer activity. If a seller puts their home on the market and it's priced correctly, they don't need to make a bunch of price reductions before it goes under contract. So what we're seeing here in Frisco, as you can see, it's been falling quite a bit. As of right now, it's at 46% of listed properties are taking a price reduction before going under contract. But look at Prosper. It had been falling, but then right here, November 28th, it suddenly shot up, right? So in the last 7-10 days, it's really jumped up. It's gone from 50% up to 55%. Why is that? Well, the reason we're seeing that more in Prosper is, like I mentioned before, Prosper's got a lot of new construction, and many of the builders are on a push to make their year-end numbers. Sales in 2025 have not been great. We're coming in, we're nearly at 30-year lows as far as home sales go. So the builders have really been pushing. They've been cutting prices, they've been offering incentives, and that jump in price reductions, as I mentioned, does take new construction into account. And that's an example of the builders making additional price cuts right around Thanksgiving time in order to try and push sales on their homes that are ready to move in, that will close by the end of the year. Sellers are more motivated. You do have more choice because there's more inventory. And with the sellers being more motivated, they are adjusting. They're coming in, they're making more concessions than they have in the past. There's still a little bit of an imbalance between seller expectations and buyer expectations in the market now. But again, give me a call. I can help you work through those or discuss some strategies that have been working with my clients. And with rates expected to stay about where they are today, waiting for 3, 4, 5, 6 months may not give you the edge that you're hoping for or greatly improve affordability over where it is right now. The deals that I'm seeing right now in the marketplace, especially with new construction, something I haven't seen ever before, and they are not going to last forever. How quickly they disappear really depends on how quickly buyer activity or how much buyer activity continues to rise. And if you're a seller, homes priced correctly are still selling in a reasonable amount of time. The early bump in activity that we've seen as we came through the end of November into December is very encouraging. So getting prepared now can position you well as we move into the new year. So if you'd like additional information on that, how to prepare your home for sale, or if you're a buyer and you want a breakdown of what these trends mean and you want to put a plan in place to help you achieve that goal, then I invite you to reach out. Please go ahead and scan this QR code. It's going to take you directly to my calendar where I offer everyone a free 30-minute consultation where we can discuss your requirements in much more detail and help you put a plan to place that works for you and your family. And don't forget, in the description below, I've got links to my buyer and seller guides for the winter. And so I thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.